Anyways, yeah, it was melting the wax, and the aroma of the honey attracted all these flies and started laying their maggots and stuff inside the hive, which not only infected the hive to where I couldn't use the honey, let alone the wax, but it also caused my bees to swarm and leave. I had no bees left by the time I decided to leave Lufkin. So, um, let alone that, and then Avery dying, I I just didn't feel like it was right being in Lufkin anymore. And then not only that, not to throw my mother under the bus or anything, because I still love her. Don't get me wrong. She had told me over text after Avery died that I wasn't allowed to have any more dogs, and I'm not gonna go into the reason why I disagree with that. Oh hell. Sorry, there's a bunch of coyotes out across town or something. Anyways, she told me I wasn't allowed to have any more dogs. I could still have Marmaduke, but I wasn't allowed to have any more dogs, which I did not agree to. Yeah, maybe I can go overboard a little bit. I understand that. I know. But to be honest, I feel like every time I have a dog, whether short term or long term, I feel like I'm giving that dog the best chance in life that it has at that moment. And I'm giving myself the best chance in life at that moment too, because of the fact that I'm just not used to not having dogs anymore. You know, I mean, if it was just me and Marmaduke right now, and let's say he got killed all of a sudden, whether from coyotes or got hit by a car or whatever, I'll be on my own. I can't handle that. I really, really can't. I haven't been on my own since I got Xena back in Mother's Day of 2017. I'm not used to being by myself. I'm really not. Especially with my anxiety and my Asperger's, I have to have a dog. And that was the reason. That was one of the reasons why we had Xena in the first place, was because of the fact that she was so good in that role as a an emotional dog or emotional support dog or even a service dog for that fact, that I couldn't see it any other way. But like I said, I knew if I didn't have another dog with us, and that said dog like Xena or Marmaduke or Avery, if they were the only ones, and again they were killed, I'm by myself. I can't handle that. I really can't. That's the reason why I'm always used to having at least two dogs, sometimes three, rarely ever four. Usually, if I had a fourth dog, there was probably something that happened that caused me to have it, and sometimes that's the situation with the third dog. You know. So after she told me that, it was for like the next couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, it was just me and Marmaduke, and I was doing DoorDash, as we know, and all this other stuff. And then one day I had saw this ad about Pixie, and it was this couple about my parents' age that lived between just west of Garrison, Texas, which is north of Nacogdoches. And the ad for Pixie was very heartbreaking because they had just found Pixie the week prior to that, and Pixie from the pictures was just completely she was completely skinny. Apparently, she was abandoned at one of the nearby camps that people go to. When I say camps, I'm talking about like for your family to go to. Um, Nobody knew who the owner was. Nobody would claim her, and they were trying to keep her, but they just didn't have the food to feed her because they had like 3 or 4 other dogs they needed to feed, and she kept chasing their cats, so they just couldn't keep her. So I ended up taking her in because they didn't want money for it. And the money I had was going to bills, paying rent and car insurance and gas and stuff like that, and feeding Marmaduke. So I really felt like I was going to be able to give her a second chance, which I did. I mean, she's right behind me right now. Where is she? Hi, Pixie. Pixie! Hi, baby girl. I love you. Hi, Pixie. Mama. Such a beautiful girl. So anyway, I didn't tell my mother for about a week or so, maybe a week and a half, and then I finally did, thinking it would be okay, and it basically wasn't. And that was the reason why we ended up leaving. And I don't think I was even gonna be leaving for good, but as time went on, I realized, I'm better off being on the road or living somewhere else where I feel more comfortable, like here on the farm. Um, so we got into it over text, and she ended up taking. Well, the Jeep had already broken down by then, and basically when it broke down, what happened was, see, I've been telling them, or even asking really, is it possible that the indicator, the gas indicator on the for the needle and such on the dash could be wrong, and they kept saying no. And the reason I said that was because I would put in like $40 to $75 worth of gas every week from either door dashing or doing some other job, and that would be that's a shit ton of gas to be putting in, and yet I'm still it's like I'm still using most of it up if I'm going only a third of what I would be using after paying $40, $50, $75 worth of gas. And so apparently what happened was I went to go do a DoorDash order one night, and the car kept doing this stop and go motion, which at the time I thought maybe it was either the battery was dying or the filter for the clutch or whatever, I can't remember what it was we replaced after before that, was starting to fail again. And so I called my mother up and said, hey, we're stopped over here in the middle of the road, whatever road it was at the time, yada yada yada. I think the batteries died or whatever, or that I'm out of gas. Something was wrong. And the thing is, the gas indicator on my dash still said I had about a quarter of a tank left, which is why I didn't actually think it was the gas. I thought it was something else, and come to find out, she had texted me almost a month ago saying that it actually was it was just out of gas. I'm like, that is so fucking stupid. Not what she said was stupid, but the fact that how much it said I had and then how much was actually in there was completely different. I was fucking pissed. It was just I felt like it was a waste of time. So she took away. So I ended up using her one of her vehicles, and she took the keys away because she said she couldn't. She basically couldn't trust me anymore, and I mean I don't see why. All I did was basically save a pit bull, or in a dog in general. And she thought I was trying to hide the dog from her, and I said no, that's not the case, and all this other stuff. I'm not going to go into full detail because it's really nobody's business. But basically, because of Pixie, that was the reason why we went back out on the road. Um, his other question is, do you still call your mom? No. I'm not going to go right now, anyways, into detail what happened a couple weeks ago, or about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't talk to anybody on my mom's side except for two of my cousins and I think one of my uncles. That's it. I don't talk to anybody. And a lot of it is a mental thing. Okay, I had mentioned earlier I do have Asperger's. I do have anxiety. Even if they tell me I don't, I know for a fact when I'm reading and how I'm reacting and talking with other people who do have anxiety, I do have anxiety, and I actually do have depression, which is another reason why I needed Xena in the first place, and why her role in my life was so needed. But no, I'm not talking to them. For my sake, their sake, my mental status, I just can't. I can't handle them. I really can't. And I know that's sad to say, and I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, you need to call your." No. I'm just not going to. And it's not only my mother. I don't talk to my mother. I don't talk to my dad. I don't even talk to my brother or my sister. My sister Brittany, at least. Um, and it's sad. I know it is. I really wish it didn't have to be like that, but it just had to happen. It was inevitable, you know. I mean, for a while, years ago, I haven't spoke to her or anybody, and it's probably gonna be longer this time, and I don't know if it ever will happen again, considering all the other shit, you know, with technology failing us and shit like that. I highly doubt it ever will. So no, I don't call her. I don't call anybody. The only one family related, or extended family, I should say. Like I mentioned earlier, Marissa, my adopted mother, I talk to her almost every day. Her daughter, April, is a only child, and I've known them, like I said, for about 5 or 6 years now. And they used to work for my mother. So me and April are very close. Um, you know, at one point I used to see them almost every day, or at least every weekend. You know, they'd come by the rink and I'd see them, and we'd go off to do events, you know, either stuff with the farmer market or sports or whatever it is. You know, when the last couple of years, as mainly, especially the last couple of years, I was always involved in April's life, and I still am. I at least talk to her almost every day or night or whatever. Um, you know, they feel more like family to me than anything. Them, as well as Cooter and Brooke and all them, and even Kimberly and her husband. I mean, they're really the closest things I actually have to grandparents. You know, they wanted me to come out here. They needed the help. I needed help. I mean, I wasn't even expecting to go back on the road. Being out here, I really, like I've said in one of my last videos, I really do feel like I get to continue what I wanted to do in Lufkin, and Kimberly's family is giving me that chance to be able to do it. So I'm completely grateful for being here, and the fact that they will still let me go on the road and come back is even amazing. Let's see, I already answered that question with the Jeep. DoorDash. If they will let me drive one of their vehicles, which I might talk to them eventually about that, I might actually go to one of the nearby cities and do DoorDash. I just got to change all my information to Kansas. What's the longest job you ever held? Technically, that would be the roller rinks, on and off, which would be the last 10 years. But outside of the rink, Sonic Drive-In as a skating car hop, and probably Lucky's gas station, which I was living nearby at the time. And that job sucked. Am I coming back north anytime? Yes, I actually will be going up to Brett this next coming convention. I will be going. I've been threatened to go. That's a joke by one of the hobo queens, Minneapolis Jules. I mentioned her before. When we go up, we will be running for king. A lot of people have been requesting me to do it. They wanted me to do it last year, and y'all know I didn't go due to certain stuff, some of which we just talked about. When you become king or queen, Jules always, for the last God knows how long now, she's always been the one to host the after party for the king and queen, and everybody's invited. And most of the time, you got a lot of the old timers are usually there. Minnesota Jim, he's what we call a bridger. He used to ride steam engines back when they were still used, and when diesel engines came out, he started riding those, and he bridged from the steam engine era to the diesel engine era, which is why we call them bridgers, people who do that. And he's a really good guy. He was the 2012 Hobo King, and he's a really nice guy to talk to. You know, I love talking to Jim. I miss seeing him a lot. Hopefully he'll be there next year when I go. And then I think Miss Lump, she is the oldest hobo queen, I think. One of the oldest hobo queens. And she'll be there. and just a lot of different people will be there. It's a fun party. You know, you got drinks and food and the usual, and you get your pictures taken and stuff like that. But yeah, they want me to run. I really feel like I should run. I mean, even if I don't win, that's fine. You know, I'm not gonna be like shoestring and well, I'm not going back anymore. Blah blah blah. Well, fuck you. No one cares. I'm not. I don't see why anybody. Oh well, Brett's not gonna be the same without him. Somebody literally said that on Facebook, and I'm like, you realize he's only gone twice, right? He gone in these, I think, either the late '90s or early 2000s, from judging from one of his tags I saw, and then he went this last convention. It's not like he goes every year, so I don't understand why people take offense at the fact that he didn't win. I don't see why people see. Here's the thing with the convention, okay? Just because you have a big YouTube channel does not mean everybody knows you, okay? When you go out to Brett and you're running for king, you have to not only have your brothers and sisters in the convention back you up, but you also have to have the tourists who are coming by to back you up. And you also especially have to have the town back you up. See, there's a reason why we have the parades and stuff. It's not only to celebrate the days of the hobos, but it's also for those candidates who want to get their name out to be able to be in the parade. And when I was doing it, you would be in the parade and you would have your sign, and you try to convince people to vote you in. And then of course you can also go around town or the nearby areas and put your signs up as well. I went to Casey's, I went to whatever their local grocery store is, I can't remember right now, and I went to just about every single place and put as many signs up as I could. Of course, I still didn't win. It was won by, what the hell is that guy's name? Slim Tim. Slim Tim was the winner at the time. And his father, I can't remember his name, was a famous hobo as well. Anyways, you gotta have those people backing you up. It doesn't matter if you're, like I said, if you're famous on YouTube and you have all these people watching you. Okay, even if Stobe would have went there and ran, I don't think even he would have won, because again, he had a big following, but not a lot of people there on Shoestrings, take at least, really even knew who he was. And if you saw the videos of when he was talking, and this isn't me being an ass about it, this is just an observation, he didn't really try to convince people why he should be king. He was just giving a story, and that's not what people were looking for. And then another thing is especially with your brothers and sisters there, in the convention, you have to try to interact and get yourself involved as much as possible. A lot of people, not just one person, not just two people, a lot of people I know who go to the convention every year, everybody told me the same thing. He mainly stayed in his tent. He didn't interact with people for the most part. He stayed with Dutch, who was our last king. And I don't like Dutch either, for a lot of reasons. But Shoestring didn't really try to help or get involved. One of our most famous hobo kings is Steam Train Maury Graham, and he's a 5-time hobo king. Died in 2006. He always, and this is what inspired me to actually run. He was always, not only was he always interacting with the jungle and helping out. He's being the crumb boss, which is our word for being basically the chef, the one who runs the kitchen. He's being crumb boss. He was getting the meals out. He was helping, get the firewood put in. He was washing people's clothes and putting them on the lines. He was doing all this stuff, and that's one of the reasons why he won 5 different times in the 70s and I think even the early 80s, because he was a legit example of what hobos should be. He helped his brothers and his sisters. He made sure that jungle was clean and spotless. and he made sure you were a legit hobo, not just somebody with a backpack coming in claiming the hobo name or whatever. You know, he, like me, he can fucking recite the creed at the top of his head, and again, like me, he could tell you just about every goddamn hobo sign. So, you know, guys like him is who I strive to be. Outside of the convention, you know, he talked with Boy Scouts, he went to hospitals, he went to VAs, he went to prisons to talk to people. He helped out. He did obviously jobs and stuff like that. He actually used to ride during the Great Depression era, which is why he had that really old school hobo mentality in his mind. So because of that, he's one of the reasons why I want to run for king, because I want to be like that, not for the glory of being king and, you know, hey, look at me, I'm hobo king, you know, which is what our current king Shabazz. I don't hate the guy, but he's fucking annoying as hell. You know, by the way, I'm hobo king, and did you know I'm hobo king, and blah 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 blah. You know, he makes the king name look bad because that's all he cares about. And I'm not gonna go into a lot of detail, but basically he's at Joel's house still to this day. He's still at Joel's house as of fucking August. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You need to be out there representing us, showing people that we're not the bad guys that the police and the media say that we are. And that's one of the reasons why I want to run for king. See, I could do it right now anyways, as I am, but having the title of king gets a lot more, I guess, for lack of better words, publicity on you. Because especially when Steam Train was king, I mean, he was in newspapers, he was in TV programs, radio shows, all this stuff. And that's what I want to be. We're not bad guys. We really aren't. I mean, yeah, there's bad apples in us, just like it is with the police department, just like it is with firefighters, U.S. military. Your job, I'm pretty sure there's some douchebag who makes your job, or whatever the hell it is, look bad, and that's part of the reason why people don't want to go to the place of business that you work. So that's one of the reasons why we're going back up to Brett to run for king, because again, people have been asking me to do so. And a lot of them are really old school people who realize I actually do know what I'm talking about. I do know my history, and if I don't know it, I'm willing to at least learn it. You know, so I know I'm rambling on. Uh, he has two. He has two last questions, and these are actually the two last questions. He says, "How old are you?" I am 24. I will be 25. I was December 5th. I was born December 5th, 1996. And he asks, "Is there ever a Mrs. Roadrunner?" No. I haven't dated since 2016, and there's a reason why. But here's the thing: I went to church yesterday, and saw this really nice girl. And the thing is, I didn't have Marmaduke with me, which I probably should have brought him. And my anxiety got to me because there were so many people in this church. I felt very uncomfortable at the time. The only thing that kept my mind off of my anxiety was Kimberly sitting and talking with me. But there's this really nice young girl who Kimberly said she was about my age. She knows who she is. And I wanted to talk to her. I just couldn't talk to her. I don't know how. I don't know how to talk to not just girls, but guys. I am by the way. I just don't know really how to talk to people when it comes to relationships anymore. Because I've tried in the past, even this year and last year. I just don't know how. It just seems like on both men and women's minds, all they want, for the most part, is they'll talk for 30 minutes, and then either they want sex or they want nudes, and that makes no fucking sense, you know? And maybe it's just the traditionalist in me. I would so much rather, for example, be dating an Amish girl than some random fucking person I just met on Facebook. But this person is not a random person I met on Facebook. She seems to be a really nice girl. She's getting her life together. Uh, you know, I think she's in college from what I was hearing. she just seems like a really nice girl. So, I don't know what else to say other than I would love to get to know her more. I keep hearing coyotes out there. Anyways, um, like I said, I would love to get to know her more, and maybe that would be the reason why I do settle down officially for good. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, I'm at 1,010 subscribers as of the time that I'm recording this. I want to say thank you, everybody. I don't really know what I would have done without YouTube. I mean, yeah, I get pissed off with YouTube a lot, especially since they keep changing shit every year. But this is my outlet. And even if it was just 10 subscribers, 5, just 1 subscriber, this is my outlet to be able to talk to people. I wouldn't be able to do this with a shit ton of people in front of me. And I've told this to you guys before. If it wasn't for YouTube, I don't know what I really would have been doing. I really don't. I really think being on the road outside of YouTube, even if it was just me and Xena, it probably would have been boring. Not saying that having Xena was boring. I fucking miss her. I love her. I wish she was here still to this day. I'm just saying in general, uh, just my interaction with the public would have been boring and probably scary. So, anyways, I gotta go to bed. I gotta get ready to do chores tomorrow morning. I will see y'all later. Peace and gute Nacht. Dankeschön. Auf Wiedersehen.